Welcome to the Andesis Podcast. My name is John.
And I'm Kathy, and together we are the
Journey with the Andesis.
Happy 1, 2, 1, 2, wee.
Good evening, Ka-Journey! Welcome to episode 2 of our podcast. Still surreal. Ay, sorry.
My name is John,
And I'm Kathy.
and together we are the
Journey with the Andesis.
Alright, so for tonight, what is our topic, Kathy?
Our topic for today is January ngayon, right? Napatagalog ko, kulpyada. So it's January, so I think whether you are doing things in solo, right, or as a couple, especially if it's a family, right? I think it's important that we start our 2023 just right, and kadamo sang right ko.
Ano ka? Ano sang intro mo?
Kagamo.
Kagamo sa intro mo. What we will do for tonight, or what we will discuss for tonight, is simply, answer the question nga, who should be managing or handling the finances in a family, right?
Correct.
So, amo na. Tamo, dami pa ko sinasabi.
True man na siya. Yeah, who should manage the
Alright.
finances in the family? So laban-laban it works kini sa couple gali.
Yeah.
Sa couple, and if especially if may little family na.
Family to family ka mo. And I think it's relevant. We thought it's relevant because it's 2023. I think din siya mga kamina yung mga
Amo to, ang introduction ko nga palagpatism.
2023, ito syempre a lot of us are making our what do you call that? Plans.
New Year's
mga
resolution.
New Year's resolution. So part of it, I'm seeing, this on Facebook, on my Facebook feed nga, muna they wanna manifest ko na having more money, wanna have savings, they wanna have more investments. But I think it's more than just manifesting. You need more than that if you want to have, I guess, financial freedom, or if you wanna manage better your finances.
That's true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Right?
definitely. As a matter of fact, kung New Year gani, 'di ba? Kasami naton nga mga Pinoy with do mga pamahiin, especially when it comes to money. Like
Correct.
dapat ang bayo mo may circle kay para money comes in.
Or nang mayara ka sang bowl nga may mga dugin lupot bala ang lukot or lupot.
Kalo isang word nga lupot, love. Ginlukot.
Yung lukot ang kwarta, tapos
Nga.
ito ginapatindog. Then,
Or dapat ang bulsa mo
ang
may
bulsa mo
unod
puno,
gid
or
during
that
the new year.
May ara ka sang coins nga do ihaboy pasulod sa
Which
balay.
we did,
Oh,
right?
nawawa
So, hindi tada magmamalinis because I think everybody would agree nga tanan kita, we would like to be financially stable, and
Right.
ang term nga ginusar mo, financial freedom.
Financial
Right?
freedom.
But pero there's no freedom when, kung
wala taga ka-handle sang
wala taga ka-manage.
manage properly ang aton finances.
Correct. So that is why amo na siya amon nga topic for today. So who should really manage the finances?
So before we dive into it, disclaimer tanay, no? Kay syempre kabalo naman ta how crazy our netizens can be.
Yeah.
Or how crazy social media can be. We don't wanna be, who was the lady recently nga doon nag-trending?
Should you mention it pa?
Sige na, never mind.
Never
But I'm
mind.
sure you know kung sino ginamina
Yeah,
mo.
yun lang, your intention is different, but it's,
then, taken out of context or may misconstrued sa iban,
yes,
right?
hindi na mag-join sa mga amusin na
Correct.
love.
So disclaimer, we are not we don't claim yung mga financial experts kami.
Correct.
Or mga ano pa na sila
Or
gani,
that billionaire kami.
billionaire kami nga anong karapatan ninyo mag-talk mo about that. So since some of you guys are showing so much support sa amon, and then expressing their curiosity bala how we do things, this is just us sharing what works for us, okay? So it's up to you if you want to tune in, if you feel like hindi kami credible or what, feel free to click away, no? Sige
Yeah,
mo na. Ang amo lang is
yes.
to those who are curious how we do things.
Yeah.
Di mo na, we wanna share what works for us siguro.
Correct,
Diba?
correct.
Wala na, di ba?
Ano pagidhaw?
Oo, basi bala, gulpi lang may nag-invest sa gambal. Kaya mo nibing hambal ni John or
Diba?
mo nibing hambal ni Kathy. Please, guys, don't, okay? So, this is just us sharing our experience.
So yes,
So,
but before
wala.
we dive into that, love, nga may struggle how? Nga may struggle when it comes to, you know, maybe saving, right? Or maybe getting a life plan, or maybe investing. Nga may struggle. Nga. So I think one of
Ikaw
the
nga.
love. So for me, may struggle is because, say for example, nagplano ka na muna himon ko sa kwarta ko. I can really relate to this when I was single pa before. Naplano na ang kwarta ko. O, nagbayad din sa balay, nagbayad sa tubig, grocery, amuning extra. Pero ang kakatabo, ay, may mga unplanned eat-outs. I think you all can relate to it, especially if single pa kamo bala, kag wala pa mayo mga obligations or responsibilities. Right? Yes, gabulig, especially if you're a breadwinner. John and I were both breadwinners of the family. And yes, although nakaplano ka, may mga unplanned things. Kag ang a huge factor is kung may mga barkada ka nga mukbanger.
Mukbanger. Yung gulpi lang mga agad. Let's go, hero.
Especially if you're working in a call center setup, nga pagka morning, doon ka mga gutom ka mo, gusto yung magpasabaw.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pala-pala iski, sizzlers.
Would you say nga guilty ka da?
Super guilty. Oh,
you
Zoe
want
wants ice cream.
I don't know if you can hear our daughter. She wants ice cream. So. We'll give you ice cream in a bit, Zoe, okay?
Wala ice cream. Okay. So, yeah. Very guilty. So, sa dalaga ko, permit ko gakawadaan because mas nagdamo ang unplanned than, my plan.
Planned. Kumbaga, ang budget mo na. You exceeded sa budget mo.
Correct.
I remember there was one story that you shared with me nga because you wanted to be friends with these people, sometimes even if you don't need these things, kay tungod nga gabaligya sila in the office, do ka mo na balahaw. You'd still buy it even though you don't really need it at the moment. Plus, it's utang. That's why do ka...
Correct. Correct na siya. And I think in all work setup, gakatabo gini kay may mga pa-entrepreneur kamo da nga mga friendships, right? Or mga office mates. Nga, they create another income outside.
Stream of income,
outside sa work nila. So, may ara na iba na kung Christmas mabaligya sang fruit basket, right? May ara mabaligya ham. Pero pautang na tanan-tanan.
Or
May ara
sometimes
man nga
merch, right?
Merch like Bayo or
Bags.
Or bags.
Before, you used to buy a lot of those,
and that's
right?
very true. Ang ginamba ni Jan, when I was younger, when I was immature, and when you're immature and you're young, you just always want to feel like you belong.
Yeah.
Right? May amo ka na nga sense nga, I thought Zoe was talking. May amo ka na nga sense ka lang, you wanna be friends with everybody, mo gusto mag-create mga issues. So, kung anong baligya nila, and since utang man, right? Two pays, two gives, ang mga mamo na. Ginabakal mo, but to be honest, hindi mo mapuslan.
You don't really need it at the
just wanna be
moment.
friends with them. So yes, very
Or you don't wanna
guilty.
decline, no? Kaya ka...
Kay nahuya ka
man
mag-say
mag-decline.
no.
Oh. Ikaw nahuya mag-say no because...
nahuya ta mag-say no. Oy, raise your hand if you're if you are in that zone nga you're shy to say no and so napapasubo ka. Girl, magamit mo na ang bag, ang totoo. May prutas na kamo sa balay, nagkuha ka pagid fruit basket.
But would you say there were items before nga doka you genuinely like it, that's why you bought it or ginutang mo siya?
Yes, of course. Pagkaon, especially mga food nga wala pa na kaon ni mama. Foodie.
Same here. Same
Right? Like, kung may mga baligya sila nga mga pagkaon, wala pa na... Excuse me. Yes, baby love. Kung may mga pagkaon na wala pa na nakaon ni mama, utangon ko gini nga kay dalon ko na sa balay. Ikaw, ano mo yan?
Same. Actually, in the past, if may ara ko sang ginagastuhan, if there's something that I really spend my money on, that's really food. So when I was still in college, well, sang eskwela ko in general, right? We don't have a lot. Ang balong ko tsaktuhan ng gid. And so when I got the chance to work and finally misweldo na ako, in our workplace, we have a pantry. Kaga pa salary din na sa pantry. And I can vividly remember when I was so hungry sa school, syempre kaya ang kwarta ko enough lang. At the pantry, after, when my shift starts already, because when I started sa workplace, I was still a part-time student, right? Or a part-time employee. I can remember that I would eat whatever I see there. Yung feeling ko, wala pa na tilawan or inablang, I feel like namit o kamalablaw. And I would end up sometimes spending 50% sa nga ko ng sweldo paying my utang.
Nakakibot ka man lang.
Yes. So,
Ngayon naman, pag
kasi
payday,
you're not very conscious about it mo.
kay, malista ka lang.
Makilista ka lang kay hari mo lang, lista mo lang.
Lista man niya. Doon matyaga mo, doon nakakudaka, galing income
And then
mo.
you'd be surprised, kilabot, like a lot, like, during the payday, oh my God, amuning ginkaon ko, so muna ni bilin. So anyway, going back, we're a little bit deviating sa topic. So part na sa sang struggle.
Yes.
What you're saying.
What is this?
What's that? Okay.
Yes.
I think another struggle is siguro the fact that sometimes hindi amo nakadako man sang income ta, right? I think that's just struggle because let's not discount the fact that there are people as well nga what do you call that ganito minimum wage to kamo na balaw.
Minimum wage
Tapos,
earners.
there are a lot of, let's say if you're a breadwinner, there are a lot of dependents na rely sa imo. So I think that's part of struggle as well, right?
Definitely.
So that's part
Buka
of it.
insaktuhan lang isang kwarta. Nuka mo na.
Yeah. What else?
Another thing would be probably pressure. Like sometimes, kung kagina, may mga pautang, nga you don't know how to say no, especially if you don't have the skill yet to say no, right? Another would be pressure nga, ay, may bag si Amuni. Uy, bag-uni ni Amuni ho. Bisan class, for example, pinaka-uso is, of course, the beautiful Miss Heart Evangelista, right? Kung may mga fashion week, siya kag, oh, ito ka paet ng isang Amuni nga bag. And if you're someone who loves, dressing up, gusto mo, nasa uso ka, right? So, pag nakita mo, ay, what's that bag? Bisan class A lang.
Right.
Mabakal ka, gid.
So, social media age, right? Where you see a lot of influencers, kag sometimes when you see them traveling, do ka-trigger ka mabla, ay, ma-travel mo ko siguro ay. So, you tend to spend something that's out of your budget because do na pressure ka or do na trigger ka to do the same with these people nga gina-follow mo on social media, right? So,
what happens, love, if you mention the word outside the budget? What happens, love, kung outside the budget ka na? Anong tendency naton?
So, I think the tendency, in reality, what happens is, like, if you don't have enough income, tapos you overspend, right? Tendency ta is, mangutang. Mangutang. And then, if you continue to do that, it becomes a cycle. And then, okay lang na if you are very diligent. If you're diligent and if you're paying on time. Pero if not, the tendency is it starts to pile up. And then it becomes a bigger problem. Especially kung ang ginhulman mo has huge interest rate, right?
Yes. So, it becomes like a downward trend na sa imo.
Right.
Right?
So, going back sa question, in a family setup or in a couple setup, who should manage the finances?
Okay, and again, we're just gonna share.
What works
Hindi
for
kami
us.
perfect, but what works for us. So, I think what works for us is that, first and foremost, knowing the fact sino ang nami mag-handle when it
Right.
comes to finances. Right? Sino ang may strength sa sininga
Correct.
aspect.
So, I don't know if you've heard, guys, but ako personally, there's a stigma before that dapat daw ang wife or ang babae ang handle sa finances. In fact, there are even jokes nga inablang, ang ATM, ang ATM ko na kay Mrs. yan, siya yung humawak ng pera. And then the man or the husband will just, kumbaga, issue everything pag nag-payday sa wife. Because the wife is the one budgeting everything, right?
Yes, sa balay.
Have you heard of that?
Yes,
Or-
yes. They even say, who wears the pants in the family?
Right.
Ano ka mo na nga drama. So, in our case, knowing who has the strength, because clearly, that's not my strength. I think my strength is spending. Shopee. Lazada.
Hindi man
Hindi
ganun.
man the one who has the strength Gidya, in the family when it comes to saving, planning, is you. So I think it's important that as a couple, as a family, you discuss sinong mas nami magtago kwarta.
Right.
So, depende na. If it's the babae, then siya ang makip. If it's the lalaki, and then siya makip. And in our case, si Jana ang nami sa kwarta.
So, it doesn't have to be, like we said, diba, that this is what works for us. Pero, if, based on your guys' evaluation, duwa ka mo ang nami magkapit sa kwarta, actually, in a way, sa aton, duduwa mata, more of me siguro, 70-30%.
Oh,
right?
thank you, love. Yung mo pa ko 30%.
Yeah, totally, right? Pero, amo na, like, if, in your case, guys, duduwa ka mong nami magkapit kwarta, then it's more of a collaborative effort. But if you think, lalaki or babae ang nami magkapit kwarta, then you give the liberty to that person. But at the same time, you bilang, of course, it's conjugal property. You guys, are married. You still have to be very transparent, with the cash flow. No cash flow.
Yeah. Kay, like, for example, sinong dako income, sinong
Yeah.
gamay income.
Yeah.
So, si gamay income, siya masalo sa mga gamay nga mga balayran.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the bills inside the house,
Uh-huh.
the tubig, mga market here and there.
Yeah.
Tapos, kung sinong dako income, siya to sa investments.
Yeah.
Right?
So, as funny as it may sound, so Kathy and I actually, just a few months ago, we came to a point where we created our own P&L, our profit and loss report, where it's an Excel file itemizing what are all the
Spendings.
what are all the spendings, meaning the money that
Comes
goes
out.
goes out,
Goes out. Sorry, ato gid.
and the money that comes in, right? So
Correct.
meaning mga income, revenues namon.
Correct.
Just so we can keep track of our spending, of our investments, and what are the remaining money that we have nga pwede namo i-splurge.
Correct. And kung nag-splurge man kami, din tayo nagpasobra.
Right.
Diba?
Saka
What is P&L, love? For those who doesn't know what
profit and losses.
Correct.
Or,
Diba?
profit and losses report.
Pwede nyo na maobra sa inyong
Pwede
nga
nyo
family. Pila ang income ang kasulod, kag pila ang gagwa. You can do this on a monthly basis. But you tally it, depende kung within the
Right.
day mag-spend ka mo. Kaya sometimes, if you don't tally it right away, malipat ka na.
Yeah.
Diba?
Malipat ka na. And then I think when you itemize it, right, and when you track it, when you come to a point that you feel like you don't have money anymore and you see nga, hala, na-overspend tagali sa eat out, then what
Correct.
do you do next? Do you still eat out a lot the next time?
No na, you
Not
create a
anymore.
budget.
You create a budget, right?
Right.
Or let's say na-overspend ka biki tungod nga nang libre ka.
Or holiday.
Or nag-holiday, nag-grabbing eat out na naman. Yung pangaon.
Kaya mo ng Pinoy, amuta na ka
Amo ta na
Pinoy.
Pinoy, get out. So muna, at least you can, you'd be able to identify what you need to budget naman.
You'd be able to identify anong mga bad habits ang gakatabo within the week, within the month, nga ay pwede, you can, take control of.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's important to know, to have that.
Yeah.
If you want us to discuss more of that, let us know in the comment section below.
So tracker, no? So muna, tracker.
Another thing is, I think, love, for those who know us, what works for us is that nang hindi kami magarbo when it comes to, I don't know, the garbo word
It's subjective,
is
love.
very
It's
subjective.
subjective, love. Kaya basi bala, para sa atin hindi na yung magarbo, and then our
Sila gali,
audience
subjective na.
paano na hindi nagmagarbo kayo?
Oo. Siguro what I'm trying to say here is that kung birthdays, we can create a party, and you know very well how much you can spend in a party.
Yeah, if you really wanna be extravagant in the parties, right?
Pero ang brata, ga-collab ta.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by collab? Collab means it's
More of X-deal lang.
X-deal with the place. So pag
Yeah.
nag-X-deal kami sa place, libre na ang place nga staya
Yeah.
namon.
So just in case you're thinking, guys, nga inabalang we
Lagaw lang
spend
ta
a lot,
permi.
nga lagaw lang kami permi, I would say 90 to 95% sang amon lagaw is for free. wala kami may ginabaydan. Okay?
And thank you to the businesses.
Thank you to the businesses who are trusting us because it's a win-win situation where for us, we get to enjoy the place, right?
Or we were able to do the celebration.
We celebrate there, right? Hindi kinahanglan mag-rent sa amuning resort just to celebrate something. But at the same time, because of the output that we put out there as our contents, the business, kumbaga, is gaining from it. It's benefiting,
revenue, yeah.
benefiting from it
Yes,
as their
yes.
marketing materials,
Yes.
putting their names out there. So, going back, like,
That's what I meant
this is the reason why Kathy is saying hindi kami magarbo is because
we don't spend.
we don't spend a lot. It's, mostly that you see, gina-travel namon where we celebrate, birthdays or things
It's
like
collaborate.
that. It's more on just a collab work.
Collab work, yes.
Yeah. So,
So, what else, Pagid? Yeah, I think overall lifestyle, right? So, one of the things nga, again, we're not perfect and something we want to improve on ni John is, syempre, busy kami nga duwa sa work namon. Especially ikaw, gabi ka pa. Ako, morning ko.
Yeah.
So, one way that we can catch up with each other is, ma-date kami, ma-eat out kami, but,
collab Japan. Just kidding.
but there are times when syempre nga you wanna just eat, right? And chat. Nga, you're not working.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we came to a point nga, gaka-realize na, we spend this much man gali sa amoni. So, this is something that we wanna work on. And, yeah, it's important that you have the kind of lifestyle bala nga sustainable.
Right.
So, for us, what works for us is that really, Monday to Friday, as much as possible, we don't eat out unless there's a collab.
Yeah, unless
right?
there's a collab. Yeah.
Monday to Friday, ga-market, gig kami na, ga-grocery, gig kami na. Sang tanan-tanan na namon nga kaunon, nga may utan, may prutas da, may meat da, may isda da, right? Nga, hindi kami na mag-eat out unless ma-empty namon ang fridge.
Right.
And definitely, hindi pwede maputo waste ang ini nga mga vegetables. Yes, sige, vegetables. Mga things to improve on. Some point, you have to admit namin ako sa keeping them fresh.
Okay, fine.
So yes, that's one of the things nga we wanna continue. Lifestyle,
That's
right,
it.
love?
So when you said that, actually, it reminded me of a lesson that I've learned nga in Ablang, and I think actually it's very common, guys. I'm sure you've heard about it nga. You should live below your means, especially if you only earn this much, right? One thing that challenge a lot of people is that kabalo sila nga, for example, 10,000 pesos lang ina-earn nila. They're not conscious about their spending and they don't really live below their means.
Plus,
I think it's do ka self-explanatory sinano.
Yes, love.
So example, nag-earn ko 10K. So gin-budget ko ang needs ang needs anay. Gin-budget ko ang needs kag nakalabot na ko be, let's say
8K be.
8K do ka mo abalaw. I have 2K nga
Pang
remaining.
splurge or whatever.
So dira na makadto na sa wants, right? So clearly the remaining money is 2K sa wants, right? But you wanted to go to an extravagant trip. Beach trip worth 5K. And you do it. Is that living below the means?
Definitely not.
Definitely not, right? So, that's a perfect example of living below the means. So, if that's the case, right, either you save up first so you can afford this vacation, right? Or this party.
Oh, mahulat lang ni siya.
Mahulat
like,
lang ni siya. Okay,
matabo
save ko lang
man
ni
siya
siya. Matabo
gyapon.
man siya na. Because this is not us discouraging people to
Not to have fun.
Not to have fun, right? Or not to kumbaga experience mga kumbaga extravagant things, diba? This is just us kumbaga sharing about
what works for us.
what works for us in terms of managing finances, right? So you have better financial experience overall in 2023. So muna, like, just be conscious about your spending.
Yeah, if you can plan ahead,
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I think that's pretty much
That's it.
Oo. Do we have anything else to add?
Doka mo mula na. Okay, so another thing is siguro savings. Because I've also talked to a lot of people bala in the past where they'd say nga, it's easy for you to say nga mag-save lang kay okay ang gina-income mo. Actually, like both of us, you know, we came from a kumbaga a type of job nga insaktuhan lang. Ang
it's
income,
not like
right?
saka tada yun.
Yeah, it's not like we've acquired this income that we're getting right now, right? And so we know how it feels sang insaktuhan pa lang. Pero I think, you know, it really matters, kid, if you're disciplined with your spending. And from, you know, this person I'm following on Facebook, no, not on Facebook, on YouTube rather, what I've learned is that ang common mistakes ng tao is that when they receive ang ilang pay, what happens is they spend, and then whatever yung
Remains.
natira, yun yung isi-save nila. Ba't ako nagtatagalog?
Bakit biglang Tagalog siguro gina-follow mo?
Oo. Pero dapat daw, the correct mindset is, once you receive your income, you should have an allotted percentage or amount of money to save, and then whatever is yung remaining, yun yung iba-budget mo. 'Di ba?
So do you have like a perfect percentage for that, love?
I don't know, I'm not the right person to, I guess, discuss that. Pero actually, there are a lot of influencers nga credible, I think, to discuss mga financial literacy, like Chinkitan. He's a good one. Marvin Germo, diba? He's a good one as well if you want to learn about investing in stocks. So yeah, amo na, like ako, honest to goodness, when I was still in the kumbaga entry level before, the reason why I was able to acquire a property as early as that, you know, as early as when I was 19 or 20
I think
years
you're
old.
QA then.
I was a QA then, QA specialist then. It's because when I receive my money, I already have an allotted kumbaga budget for savings because I want to own a property of my own. Tukaw mo na bala. So
That's a really good one, love.
yeah. Amo na. I think amo mala na.
Yeah.
Go.
Ako wala ko sa may ma-share kay I don't save when I was
Yeah.
sa amo na nga level.
Yeah.
So that's why gani you're the one who
I'm the
handled
one handle, yeah.
the finances. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that answers that very question. So I hope you learned something from today's topic. I hope it's very relatable, and this is something that can help you plan ahead for the year 2023.
What works for you guys as well,
Yeah,
right?
whatever is sustainable.
Yeah, comment down below if we've missed something, you feel like a lesson nga we need to know. Because we are, you know, we're more than happy to hear it from you guys.
And learn from you as
And learn
well.
from you guys.
So yeah, I think that's it. This has been Kathy,
And this has been John.
and we are the Journey with the Anderses. Thank you so much.
Reminding you to always
Keep growing.
keep exploring. Hasta subong way ta ba na napalish.
Dito gagyapo na polish ang
Okay
mindset.
guys, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.